you gotta wonder, since we've already had these two major scams, obviously COVID being quite possibly the biggest scam in human history, worldwide scam. Secondly, we have the fake war in the Ukraine. That scam ongoing presently, and of course there are a lot of people who know that that's fake, but who are paid to pretend that they believe in it, to put up the flags on their cars. And here in Toronto, you don't see many Russian flags. It's funny, it's all Ukrainian flags. Of course, it's all about the Ukraine is supposed to represent the left, I guess, and I guess Russia is the right. So they're playing the whole left-right thing, as they always do. It's always got to be the divide and conquer, the two sides. But the whole thing is contrived, and they're using these people who are paid off to push the whole thing. The same people who they use as crisis actors. A lot of these people know that it's all fake, but because they get these little benefits from the government and from those who pull the strings of the government, they are pushing it so that those who are unaware will believe that the whole thing is true. Because you got a lot of people still from the, unfortunately, from like the boomer generation, who think that the media actually are legit. And if you think that, you got to be delusional, right? I mean, you got to be delusional. I mean, nothing in the media, not even a lot of things in the alternative media are legit, let alone the mainstream media. So, yeah, so those are the two scams we got. But we're still awaiting the third, which we know eventually is going to happen. Well, there's going to be a few more, but of course there's going to be something that's going to be an excuse to knock out the power all throughout major cities. And at that point the internet will go down, and people who oppose this tyranny will lose the ability to communicate. I think that's coming in the not too distant future. Another thing that is coming, which they've had a lot of predictive programming over the years for, is the fake alien invasion, or Project Bluebeam, as it's also referred to. And you gotta wonder how that's gonna go down. I mean, obviously we have this situation where right now they're using all these actors, these people who work for the state, but they also utilize legitimate like real actors. Obviously the CIA has massive control over Hollywood and everything that Hollywood puts out, so you gotta wonder whether that's gonna play a role in it too, in faking the whole thing, because the things that they can do nowadays with CGI are quite astonishing. I mean, they can make these things look real. So obviously they're going to utilize CGI for the whole fake alien invasion thing, if and when they do it. And yeah, you got to wonder how that's going to go down. It's going to be interesting to see. And of course, they tested the whole Psyop out as far back as like the 1930s, when they had Orson Welles do that radio show with reading The War of the Worlds, and people actually believed at that time that there was an alien, and that aliens had landed and were invading Earth. So that's how dumb people were then. People are a lot dumber now, actually. In the 1930s, you know, like people were, I mean, obviously they didn't know the things that we know now in terms of the information you can get online, but overall, people were more intelligent back then. So pretty easy to dupe people now into believing things that are completely fake are legitimate. So yeah, the fake alien invasion, that is to come, and you wonder what they're going to do. Like, they're going to have some sort of a CGI spaceship, some sort of Independence Day thing. And again, that whole thing is supposed to pull this, tie in with the whole program to bring everyone together. It will bring us all together under one false Messiah, whatever you want to call the Antichrist, Yeshua, whatever you want to call this person. And I believe this is a real person. Some people say that some of the things in the book of Revelation are simply symbolic, but I mean, it describes a person, right? So So this is going to be a person, and the whole thing with the all-seeing eye, with this person who likely will be wounded in one eye, possibly from some assassination attempt, that's going to all tie in with it. So the fake alien invasion, of course, sci-fi, which a lot of science in general is just fiction anyway, but sci-fi, science fiction, has pushed that for years, programming people with aliens and alien landings. That's why they've done it. Now you understand why they've put out all these movies like E.T., Close Encounters, of course Spielberg being involved in both of those films, and you pretty much know what he's about, and who he is, and who he runs with, and the things he's done. But yeah, Project Bluebeam, that will be interesting to see. I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to like have CGI images of little gray men running around, coming out of the I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, right? That's how ridiculous things have gotten. But and I do think they are going to pull something off like that. I don't know what exactly it's going to be. It might be a few years down the road, but they're going to try it for sure. And even if there's most people don't believe it and know it's nonsense, they've got enough people paid off that those people will pretend to believe it. The same way they're doing it with COVID, and the same way they're doing it with the fake Ukraine war. So you understand, if you've already got these people who they've paid off to pretend that these things are real, you can pretty much put anything out there, push it on the public, and have those people influence the others who don't know that it's not real, and try and convince them that it is, right? And if everyone around you, or a large portion of the people around you, have one state of mind, that tends to influence the way you think and tends to rub off on you. And they know that, right? So yeah, there's going to be something like that coming in the not too distant future, I think.
The infamous NASA Bluebeam project has 4 different steps in order to implement the New Age religion with the Antichrist at its head. We must remember that the New Age religion is the very foundation for the New World government, without which religion the dictatorship of the New World Order is completely impossible. I'll repeat that. Without a universal belief in the New Age religion, the success of the New World Order will be impossible. That is why the Bluebeam project is so important to them, but has been so well hidden until now. The first step concerns the breakdown of all archaeological knowledge. It deals with the setup with artificially created earthquakes at certain precise locations on the planet where, supposedly, new discoveries will finally explain to all people the error of all fundamental religious doctrines. The falsification of this information will be used to make all nations believe that their religious doctrines have been misunderstood for centuries and misinterpreted. Psychological preparations for that first step have already been implemented with the film 2001: A Space Odyssey, the Star Trek series, and Star Wars, all of which deal with invasions from space and the coming together of all nations to repel the invaders. The last film's Jurassic Park deals with the theories of evolution and claims God's words are lies. What is important to understand in the first step is that those earthquakes will hit at different parts of the world where scientific and archaeological teachings have indicated that arcane mysteries have been buried. By those types of earthquakes, it will be possible for scientists to rediscover those arcane mysteries, which will be used to discredit all fundamental religious doctrines. This is the first preparation for the plan for humanity, because what they want to do is destroy the beliefs of all Christians and Muslims on the planet. To do that, they need some false proof from the far past that will prove to all nations that their religions have all been misinterpreted and misunderstood. The second step involves a gigantic space show with 3-dimensional optical holograms and sounds, laser projections of multiple holographic images to different parts of the world, each receiving a different image according to predominating regional national religious faiths. This new God's voice will be speaking in all languages. In order to understand that, we must study various secret services research done in the last 25 years. The Soviets have perfected an advanced computer, even exported them, and fed them with the minute physio-psychological particulars based on their studies of the anatomy and electromechanical composition of the human body, and the studies of the electrical, chemical, and biological properties of the human brain. These computers were fed as well with the languages of all human cultures and their meanings. The dialects of all cultures have been fed into the computers from satellite transmissions. The Soviets began to feed the computers with objective programs like the ones of the new Messiah. It also seems that the Soviets, the New World Order people, have resorted to suicidal methods with the human society by allocating electronic wavelengths for every person and every society and culture to induce suicidal thoughts if the person doesn't comply with the dictates of the New World Order. There are two different aspects of Step 2. The first is the space show. Where does the space show come from? The space show, the holographic images, will be used in a simulation of the ending during which all nations will be shown scenes which will be the fulfillment of that which they desire, to verify the prophecies and adversary events. These will be projected from satellites onto the sodium layer about 60 miles above the Earth. We see tests every once in a while, but they are called UFOs and flying saucers. The results of these deliberately staged events will be to show the world the new Christ, the new Messiah, Maitreya, for the immediate implementation of the New World religion. Enough truth will be foisted upon an unsuspecting world to hook them into this lie. Even the most learned will be deceived. The project has perfected the ability for some device to lift up an enormous number of people, as in a rapture, and whisk the entire group into a never land. We see tests of this device in the abduction of humans by those mysterious little alien greys, who snatch people out of their beds and through windows into waiting motherships. The calculated resistance to the universal religion and the new Messiah and the ensuing holy wars will result in the loss of human life on a scale never imagined before in all of human history. The Bluebeam Project will pretend to be the universal fulfillment of the prophecies of old, as major an event as that which occurred 2,000 years ago. In principle, it will make use of the skies as a movie screen. On the sodium layer at about 60 miles, as space-based laser-generating satellites project simultaneous images to the four corners of the planet in every language and dialect, according to the region. It deals with the religious aspect of the New World Order and its deception and seduction on a massive scale. Computers will coordinate the satellites, and software already in place will run the sky show. Holographic images are based on nearly identical signals combining to produce an image or hologram with deep perspective, which is equally applicable to acoustic ELF, VLF, and LF waves, and optical phenomena. Specifically, the show will consist of multiple holographic images to different parts of the world, each receiving a different image according to the specific national, regional religion. Not a single area will be excluded, with computer animation and sounds appearing to emanate from the very depths of space. Astonished, ardent followers of the various creeds will witness their own returned messiahs in convincing lifelike reality. Then the projections of Jesus, Mohammed, Buddha, Krishna, etc. will merge into one after correct explanations of the mysteries and revelations will have been disclosed. This one God will, in fact, be the Antichrist, who will explain that the various scriptures have been misunderstood and misinterpreted, and that the religions of old are responsible for turning brother against brother and nation against nation. Therefore, old religions must be abolished to make way for the new age, new world religion, representing the one God Antichrist they see before them. Naturally, this superbly staged falsification will result in dissolved social and religious disorder on a grand scale, each nation blaming the other for the deception, setting loose millions of programmed religious fanatics through demonic possession on a scale never witnessed before. In addition, this event will occur at a time of profound worldwide political anarchy and general tumult, created by some worldwide catastrophe. The United Nations, even now, plans to use Beethoven's Song of Joy as the anthem for the introduction for the New Age One World Religion. If we put the space show in parallel with the Star Wars program, we get this. Combination of electromagnetic radiation and hypnosis have also been the subject of intensive research. In 1974, for instance, researcher G.F. Shapitz said of one of the research proposals that, in this investigation, it will be shown that the spoken words of the hypnotist may also be converted by electromagnetic energy directly into the subconscious part of the brain without employing any mechanical device for receiving or transcoding the message, and without the person exposed to such influence having a chance to control the information input consciously. It may be expected that the rationalized behavior will be considered to have been taken out of their own free will. Anyone investigating so-called channeling phenomena right now would be wise to take this area of research into consideration. It will be noted that those who think of themselves as channelers have escalated rapidly since this type of research was conducted. It is uncanny how similar their messages are, despite which entity they claim to be their source of divine guidance. It would suggest any individual considering the credibility of channeled information should be discerning and critically evaluate where the message they are receiving originates, and if the messages are specifically beneficial to the New World Order.